Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to Arc 6, Episode 11 of The Second Stranger. This is Jukai Session 6. We've got 2 more sessions left after this one. What? I am your GM and creative producer, Connie. My pronouns are they, he, and she. You can find me all across the internet, namely TikTok, Twitter, Itch, and Ko-Fi at by Connie Chong. That's BYCONNIECHANG. I'm going to go up and over to past introductions along to Quinn.
Hi, hello, I'm Quinn, and my pronouns are they, them. I'm a TTRPG designer, sensitivity reader, and actual play performer. You can find me and more about my work over on Twitter at Quintastic_. Today, I'll be playing Sitlali, your local grave cleric who has never done anything wrong in their entire life, who uses they, she pronouns. And I'm going to pass it over to Val.
Hi everyone, my name is Valiant Dorian. I use he, him, his pronouns. I'm a TTRPG performer as well as a Twitch writing streamer. And today I have the distinct pleasure of playing Voska, the Paragon of Nebusa, who uses she, they pronouns and is a College of Sea bard. And she's doing fine. No, she's not. She's having a rough time. And you can find me all around the internet at Valiant Dorian or at Also Spirit Bear. Please enjoy this lovely treasure hunt I just sent you on. And I'm going to pass introductions over to Max.
Hello, I'm Max. Max Flatfuck Transplanar. My pronouns are they, them. I just got top surgery. Yeah, things are good. I play Dewey Quirk, famously bad dad. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok at Starchmonger. And that's it for me. I'll pass it to C.
Hey y'all, my name is C. I use they, them pronouns. I'm a TTRPG performer, digital artist, tabletop dramaturg of many hats. You can find me making very trans, very gay art on the internet, Pie Sharp Art, and you can also find me right here playing Oka Hyan, your most beloved Aasimar Blood Hunter. I was just sitting here without my character sheet or my dice or anything. I was just like, I'm ready to play Oka. And then I was like, as soon as you started introducing yourself, Quinn, I was like, holy shit, wait, I need to get my things. What is wrong with me? So me and everyone and my brain who knows things is so proud to announce that this episode of The Second Stranger is sponsored by Demetria Pines and Explain Trade and Negotiation Skills Training Consultancy, believing in the power of D&D and Transplanar's potential to grow, tell great stories, and lift up our communities. Explain Trade trains negotiators for governments, big companies, NGOs, and offers e-learning courses for individuals looking to get a better deal from their boss. Check them out at Explain Trade. Thank you so much for believing in us, Demetria. We love you so much. Thank you for being here. And I will pass things over to Max for the other people that we love in our community, our patrons.
The other people we love so much are our Patreon paragons. Those are our folks pledged to our highest tier on Patreon. And those people are Azra, Brookbite, Bradley, Charles, Chiakres, Cora Eckert, Hat, Lex Slater, Marvelous, Kending, Moonflower Tea, Purple Mouse, Risa, Rue, Scruffuses, and Target. We love you all so much. Thank you for your support. And I'm going to pass it on over to Quinn. What happened last time?
You know, Max, that's a great question. Last time on The Second Stranger, Oka, Sitlali, Voska, Dewey, and Mercy confront Shuhai Meow at the top of the Kinongbo Shrine. Oka interferes with their spell work, adding their own blood to the magic, and reality breaks all around them. Again, super casually, no big deal, don't worry about it. Sin leaps from Shuhai's chest, and the team begins a wild goose chase through their own memories in time and space. Mamma mia. I was required to say that line contractually. After watching Dewey get fired from the URL, taking a quick pit stop in Ohio to pick up mother's blood. I don't understand the word that is written here, but I know that it is mother's blood. And then reliving the moment Atalanta dies, oops, all trauma, reality bends to find Duran, who's also dying. Use exclamation point recap to reach our recap document. And Val, what's the title for today? Can you tell me about it?
Yes, I absolutely can, Quinn. The titles of our episodes come from marginalized writers of all stripes. Today's title is I Will Answer to Knife, from the poem Underbelly by Nicole Homer. The full verse reads, Would-be love, do not think of me as a whetstone until you hear the whole story. In it, I'm not the hero, but I'm not the villain either. So let's say in the story, I was human and made of human things, fear and hands, underbelly and blade. Let me say it plain. I loved someone, and I failed at it. Let me say it another way. I like to call myself Wound, but I will answer to Knife.
Content warnings for this episode and the campaign in general may include fantasy violence, death of loved ones, body horror, gore, blood and bloodletting, apocalypse, trauma and grief, familial struggles, complex and complicated relationships, romance, references to sexual entanglements, and disreality. So, please use !CW in chat for a full list of these content warnings at any time, and !safety for a look at the cast's lines and veils to know what content we'll never get into no matter how dark things get, because this campaign can be intense, so please take care of yourselves. And with that out of the way, let's begin. Arms plunged into boiling water, hair hanging limply in front of glazed eyes, the memory of Jaron Cotter kneels on the precipice of death. Their body is taut with fear, brittle shadows of despair lining the hard ridges of their mouth. Their gaze is fixed on a tragedy none of you can see, tears rolling down flushed cheeks in cold desperation. Oka, your eyes are trained on the lover that killed your friend. The edges of their body pull into sharp relief like an image coming into focus, and the rest of Moreau's, the screaming, the ice, the blood, fades away like light melting into shadow until there's nothing left but Jaron. A glowing silhouette, a face etched open in pain, charred arms sitting dead in an empty lap. Here, in this snapshot of grief, time distends. You feel it warping against your soul like shrink-wrap bubblegum fog. This is a shattered glimpse into Jaron Cotter's psyche the night of the cataclysm, and Oka, you see the empty. Not as all-consuming eldritch terror, but as mundane grief, pain, an unanswered question. Jaron Cotter is giving up. And with every passing second, his body begins to fade. They're dying. Surrounded by chaos, by pain, by the deaths of their parents, Jaron Cotter is yielding into nothingness. Oka, you stand in this interminable darkness, close to them, yet so far away, and you sense his soul bleeding out into the vanishing ethereal. And you feel small. This place, this destiny, this fate is not your own. This isn't the silent grove where your soul had jurisdiction. This is someone else's future entirely, and you have no power here. What do you do?
Oka looks on in first confusion, like empty confusion. They never heard about this. John never told them about this. They never talked about what happened on the cataclysm. What is this? Where are they? What's going on? And that like panic starts to mount in them as I think like they stop running after Shuhai. They stop running after Sen, and they just kind of get stuck watching. This like confusion, this panic dawning over them. This isn't right. No. He doesn't die here. No, he doesn't die here. Shuhai, he doesn't die here. What? Shuhai! And Oka turns. What is this?
It's just darkness surrounding you, wrapping you up in a nebulous cocoon, and the glowing, limbed outline of Jaron getting fainter and fainter with every passing moment. You turn, your eyes flung open in wild desperation, and you see Shuhai Miao. The only other person you can glimpse in this space, glowing, ethereal like you are, and in their arms, you see they've caught Sen. A fox with antlers protruding from a furry forehead. Wet snout looking left and right, whiskers crinkling, Shuhai has this fox hugged close to their chest, their long alabaster hair in that tall ponytail sweeping past their pleasant robes, and they look at you with those mismatched eyes, their brow crinkling. This isn't me, this isn't my memory, this came from you. One of you, didn't it? What is this? Who is that? Who is that to you?
And they look and they don't really have the words, right? But the expression on their face, I think, is answer enough for who that is. It's, why? Why can't I can't feel them. Why can't I feel them?
This is not your destiny, Oka. This is someone else's, and this person of yours. And Shuhai's eyes narrow, and they fix onto you, and they're gonna detect thoughts on you. Are you gonna resist? Okay.
No.
You see memories flinging past your eyes, almost in holographic projection that both you and Shuhai can see. And it's like you're standing in the middle of a tunnel and the wind is warping past you, and you just see these echoes of scenes we've seen in the past play out against the warped walls of memory. We see you and Jiran meeting, for the first time in the Hounds. We see the two of you laughing, holding each other in each other's arms. And then we see the two of you parting ways after the cataclysm. We see Jiran lost and confused. We see you on all your adventures through Dabathati, and then the stage with the chrysalis, Ravi, the scream, Adam, Mother's blood, the puncture wounds, her death, the regret, the anger, Karishma Bataval's secret garden, the breakup, the absence, the grief. And all those memories shatter into nothingness as Shuhai reels a little bit, still gripping onto Sen, and recognition, realization trickles down their expression like frost off a window pane in the dead of winter. Oh, maybe they are supposed to die here. They killed your friend, didn't they? Why save them?
And Oka doesn't really have an answer for that. They kind of look at their hands, look up at Jiran, this mounting panic as they can still feel them getting further away, this blood promise, this tether, pulling against the inside of their ribs, this, the promise, this thin strand of gossamer that is about to snap between them. No, I can't. And they look up. And they remember the way that Vaska's face cracked open with grief. They remember the way that Sitlali's voice rang out through the secret garden, asking them not to leave. They remember the way that Dewey looked the first time that the two of them talked about monsters and monstrosity and forgiveness and redemption. Mercy's face, the same as their own, standing in front of Ravi's funeral. Her words, their words. No, I can't lose them both. It's worse if I lose them both. Please, please, please. You can have Sen. You can keep doing whatever you want. Please, just let me help. Please, I hurt him so much, and I haven't gotten to say sorry. I haven't gotten to apologize everything that I've put them through. Please. Please let me... Not thinking that I would never come back for them. Please let me. Please.
Gods. Fucking... Damn it! And Shuhai flings Sen at you. And you see this fox arc through the air, make a perfect leap, a perfect slice through the darkness, and sink and melt in through your chest and into your soul. And I need you to lose 8 max HP. Okay? Like, as Sen just enters you, there's like a moment where I think your chest rises upward, like it's drawn toward the ceiling of this unending darkness by a magnet. And I think your feet actually arch and pick up off the floor as well, as you start to glow, this like bright emerald green color sort of shooting out of your skin, and like your eyes start to flicker with light, like it's struggling to come out though. It hasn't completely switched on, and like the light flickering off your skin is erratic and unstable, and Sen within you feels like swirling, painful, grief-stricken change. Just like it's unwriting and rewriting your molecules, and we see like your skin just warp and then turn stone-like, and then turn into scales, and then turn into fur, and then turn into like translucent glass, and then back into, I think, your like gray drow-like skin. And Shuhai sort of looking up at you as you start to float up off the ground, but something's wrong, Oka, and I need you to lose another 8 max HP. And Shuhai, you can hear them go, no, something's wrong. Oka, give them back. I can fix this. I'll spare your friend or whatever. Just give Sen back. And I need you to lose another 8 max HP.
I can't even do that much math.
That's 24.
Okay. Oka is having a hard time hearing Shuhai meow, as their entire soul, I think, is getting rearranged. Like a rusty cog in a wheel in like a clock suddenly churning against every other gear, like grinding against the inside of their soul, like trying to click. But Oka is like, they can focus through pain, right? They can focus through pain. Pain is nothing. They felt this before. Pain is nothing. They can control pain. And I think they like reach out through time and space at Jiran Kader, and they say, I made a promise to you. I can't keep it if you're dead. And then I think the pain like hits them underneath the gut, and they cry out in pain.
Lose another 8 max HP. As you're going to hemorrhage 8 max HP per second, that Sen is inside your body. And I think it's been at least 5, eh? At least, if not more. And as soon as you say those words to Jiran, you see his head actually lift up as he seems to see you for a split second through the fog of time, through the haze of memory, past his own shattered psyche. And you see his mouth like just sort of like start to form an O, the opening of your name. And then like the fading edges of his body just to crystallize back into tangible reality, and poof, Morose, the pagoda, the silent grove, the beach, every single place that you all have visited, flung through space and time, just smash into each other. And Sitlali, Vaska, and Dewey, the three of you, burst back into time. This entire time, I think time was stopped for the three of you. As soon as you arrived in Morose, and then you just see those cracks of reality begin to splinter through air and space again. And in the middle of it all, cobwebbing out of it, the black hole causing this disturbance in graviturgic reality. We see Oka, still floating in the air, Sen's corrupted energy. Something's wrong here. Beaming out of you, just like unstably in these bright gouts of light. I need you to lose another 8 max HP as Shuhai reaches forward through the swirling reality, breaking into 1,000 pieces all around you, and says, "That's enough. You're not ready." And they're going to plunge their hand into your chest and rip Sen back out.
I don't think Oka can do anything to stop them.
And on that ripping, sort of like Shuhai has unzipped this entire sequence, we see every single shattered pane of reality just sort of fold into a single line. And as like the top and the bottom sort of like form like an equal plane, like the scales of justice righting themselves, we are back at the top of the pagoda. Like nothing has changed at all. poof, and all of you find yourselves standing like on that balcony. Dr. Aluso by the tea table. Shuhai, that spell work that had formed a half dome around them is gone. But they're holding onto the front of Oka's shirt in one hand, and the scruff of a fox with the other. That's just like the glowing outline of a fox, and they slam that fox back into their chest and drop Oka, and then also drop down onto their feet. And now all of you are back.
What was that? What was that?
Your soul. It's too shattered. It's not complete. You're in more than one place at once, Oka. That other version of you we saw back in the Silent Grove, that's still in the after. The Makoya. We need it. We need them. Without them also in you, this will never work. You won't be able to hold Sen. You'll die.
And I think they were sitting on the ground. They just kind of like put their head in both of their hands and sit there for a long minute.
At this juncture, Hitsagatan has sprung up from the tea table, has scrambled around the mats on the ground, and is kneeling down next to Oka immediately as soon as all of you reappear. Oka, are you right? What happened? Shuhai, Silali, Voska, Dewey, Mercy, what happened?
Voska's headed straight to Oka, because I think she would have the awareness that Oka's not doing very well, and it has something to do with soul stuff, and she is immediately there, sliding right up next to Oka, and is already beginning to like channel her soul magics by whistling and trying to get a tether on how Oka is doing, kind of like a diagnostics machine.
Ooh, okay, make a medicine check with advantage for me.
Hey, remember remember when we had a level up and I took skill expert? I took one for medicine. So
maybe
I have
okay,
a plus
maybe
10.
not advantage. maybe I should give you.
No, maybe don't give me advantage. I think that's okay.
Yeah, you know what? That's straight. That's a gay skill roll. Go for it.
That is a 25 total.
Okay, 25 total. Voska. You.
I'm sorry, but not really.
You stalk forward with Parable, and immediately we start to see if it's okay with you. Like Oka on the ground, hunched over, and you're drawing out this Aurora Borealis of their soul out through like their hunched over, rounded spine. And we just sort of see a golden soul, right, interstitched through with blue, interstitched through with, I think, faded remnants of red from Vinash's presence still lingering like an echo, like the smell of Vinash is still there, right? And this is just like a fucked up, it's all kinds of colors corrupted and hazed together, and they're all unstable. They look like they're writhing in pain, because taking Sen in was sort of like dropping a shark into a feeding area, and it just caused a frenzy, and now the shark is gone, but there's just a lot of like ripped up remains in its wake.
So literally all of Voska's work last time is practically undone.
All the stitches have ruptured, yes.
Fuck. Okay. I think with Dr. Aluso like right by Voska's side, probably holding Oka in this moment, and you see Voska has no filter anymore, like it is plain upon her face the danger and panic, and she kind of looks at Dr. O and she goes, "It's all undone."
No, Oka, hey, you're gonna be okay, Oka, alright? We're going to fix your soul, right, Voska? Silali!
Voska looks at Silali and I hate to have to look at you this way, but I have to.
And I think Sitlali was already at your shoulder, Voska, and they're just staring down at Oka. And quietly, without looking away, like will not take their eyes off of Oka. Hey, Dewey, do you have the jar?
We're gonna use the jar to... No.
I mean, someone's gonna have to stab me. I assumed it would be Oka, but it seems like it might need to be somebody else.
I'll do it. And Mercy steps forward. And you see that like her fists are clenched at either side of her hip, and she's got like a really serious and grim and set expression on her face. I can't lose someone else. I'll do it.
Are you sure, babe?
Positive.
Dewey, get the jar.
Dewey holds out the jar and shields his eyes.
This is the jar that the god shard of Galtanger has blessed and currently resides within, right? So you pick the jar off of, this is your god weapon, basically. This is your paragon weapon. You pick the jar forge off of your hip, which is, all of you can see is thrumming with like golden energy, and you feel it just sort of vibrating with the same kind of power that Parable, Grim all have, as Dewey holds it forward in feathered hands.
He does sort of like a quick prayer to Galtanger. There's no telling what this is going to do, what this jar is capable of. He's not one to pray to gods usually, but of desperation, just like, please, whatever you do, don't let my friend die. In this process.
Ooh, roll me, you know what? Roll me a d20, and just roll me a d20, roll me a d20.
I want to ask that of David. Oh, that's a nat 20.
The dice have spoken!
I feel like this table
I never rolled
that.
nat 20s.
Oh. The die has spoken. The die has spoken. You breathe out this genuine, soft, but small, but big prayer to Galtanger as you offer this jar to Sitlali, and you feel her glow warmly and bracingly against your hands, and you get the sense that you've reached her with that. And Sitlali, the god jar is offered to you. It is a beautiful receptacle, I think, shot through with strands of gold, like kintsugi craftwork. Looks like it was shattered once, but then brought, melded back together. And it's quite elegant. And Sitlali, you're offered this handsome vase. What do you do?
Sitlali takes it, and I don't know if this is gonna work on this plane, but I think it's easier than trying to cast when you're dead. Or is it? Ooh. So Lally is going to cast Locate Creature on Makoya Hien to try and ping the after that they have been to. It helps that they have been there, to make sure that when they go to the after, they can fuck off from their own after entrance, LMAO sorry leaf, and try to go to Makoya's.
Okay. Yeah, you center yourself, and I think, go ahead, Oka.
And I think as if you're like drawing the sigil for it in the air, I think Oka finally like makes a noise. Let me. And they reach up, and I think they're just like, their nose is bleeding. It's been bleeding, right? They just wipe it up and just kind of, they don't move from the ground, but they extend their hand up, and the blood like flows upward like rain falling backwards and knits itself into your spell work. So Oka's blood is now attached to it, in it, part of it.
Okay. Sitlali, this is going to be a misnomer. It's not actually an attack, but I need you to make an attack roll. Spellcasting attack roll with advantage, given Oka's help.
Okay. That is a natural 17 plus 10, so 27.
Okay. So as you draw this sigil in the air, and we see crimson droplets float backward and upward to join this arcane spell work. For you, Sitlali, it kind of feels like a bell ringing out with you as like the terminal station, as you're trying to reach into the ethereal plane on the cusp of the cataclysm here, right on Adolin, when the veils have thinned, and you sense, I think, your own after somewhere out there, right? And then you allow the blood to point yourself toward Makoya's after, which feels far away, but coming closer. You're pushing past the metaphorical brambles to reach an area you've never been before, and there, I think you see a pair of eyes flying open, blue with double pupils, an unscarred face, freckles, long black hair framing a handsome jawline. With a 27, you feel some sort of, it's not a barrier that's magical, it's a force, an entity, a person, something blocking you from getting to Makoya. With a 27, you glimpse who it is, but you are rebuffed anyway. Shuhai Miao from another life. Essentially parries your attempt to reach Makoya while still alive, and buffers you back into the now.
Hey, Shuhai, when I'm dead, can you let me in this time?
I am Makoya Hien's guardian farrier into the after. I can't communicate to myself to not do that because me at the time, this hasn't happened yet, and yet it still has. You need to be dead for this to work.
Well, yes, that part is obvious.
Then I'll do it. We can't keep wasting more time. And Mercy
Right.
steps forward.
Hey, Voska, heal them up for me, please.
I will care for them. You stay close to me. Understand?
I'll do my best.
And I won't let go. And Voska will look at Mercy. I won't let go.
I'm counting on you. And Mercy reaches for the greatsword strapped to her back and unsheaths it.
Sitlali,
Yes,
Come here.
okay.
come sit
And-
with me.
And they do.
And Oka, gently, they're full of pain and blood, and they're kind of just bleeding ambiently. They just pull you in for a hug, and they tuck the back of your head against their neck, and they hold you there really tightly and firmly and softly.
It's gonna be fine. I'm gonna get it. We're gonna get
Sitlali.
Makoya for you. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine.
Sitlali, breathe.
And they do.
Dying, but you know, don't you?
Yeah.
Together.
And Mercy's blade pierces your heart. Sitlali goes slump against your body, Oka. As Mercy, with her eyes closed, wrenches the greatsword out of Sitlali's back, turns around and falls to her knees. And Dr. Luso also knelt there next to the two of you. You feel their fingers sort of close and grip on tight to one of your hands, Oka.
And I think Oka starts singing a lullaby into you. The one I think that they were singing with their sisters, on the way to the Silent Grove, right? It just kind of comes back hoarse and cracked as they let Sitlali's soul go.
And I think there's a moment where, those of you not in the after, take a beat. You, take a minute to compose yourselves. And you just sort of have to wait now. But breaking the silence, actually, is Shuhai Miao. There's something all of you should know. Now that Oka's soul is on the cusp of becoming fully realized, because yes, there's no other option but success here. There's something else I've been hiding from your group. When the God Shard of Sen pulled me out of the fight against the stranger to here, to now, to protect them, to bring the stars back, to unwrite the cataclysm from reality, I wasn't alone. I wasn't the only thing they pulled back. Part of her is here, too, beyond the loop, waiting to descend on Kinongbo, on everything. Part of the reason I was so harsh on all of you is I needed to know that once I gave Sen back to Oka, you'd be strong enough to defeat her. Defeat this aspect of the stranger that's clawed its way back into the now. Because once Sen is fully united within your soul, Oka, I'm going back to my time. The time loop will end, and that part of the stranger will descend. And you need to beat it.
Fuck. And Oka kind of lifts their head up and out of Sitlali's hair and looks up at Shuhai. Can't you take it back with you?
Doesn't work like that. I willingly went to the God Shard when it called for me, and this aspect of the stranger, it wormed itself into the teleportation. I could try to siphon it back to my time, but there's no guarantee I will be successful. Especially without the God Shard of Sen. I'm just a caster. A powerful one, yes, but I'm not a paragon. I won't be a paragon until I go back to my time, until I'm reunited with my own body, my own soul.
So that's what you've been doing this whole time? Just keeping the stranger out?
Yes.
Oka nods slowly.
While this is happening, Voska would have casted regeneration on Oka. So you will get 4d8 hit points plus 15, and you will regain a hit point every 6 seconds, basically. So it's like a slow healing process, and that is 2. That's 21 plus 15 hit points, and you'll gain 1 HP per 6 seconds because it's per round, so per 6 seconds.
Connie, why you look like that?
Voska.
Uh-huh.
It was max HP that was knocked down.
Okay, that's fine.
So I think...
Can I get it as temp HP?
Okay, I'll give it to you as temp. I'll give it to you as temp HP. Why not?
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that
so
is A-okay.
Voska, I think as you were like trying to heal Oka, I think your hands are on their body. You see this aurora borealis of their ruptured, bleeding, shattered, wounded soul, and you're trying to stitch it together, maybe, let's say, but like it just won't go. You don't have the epoxy, you don't have the glue, you don't have the means of getting these disparate, shattered parts to stay in a cohesive formation. So what you do instead is perhaps you form like a shield around it, right? Like a barrier around this shattered emptiness.
And I think as Voska is kind of basically knitting this together using Parable and kind of like failing to keep hold, through frozen over marks of tears upon her face, I imagine that she's standing at Oka's back while this is happening. And she will say, "And you will do it, Oka. We will do it together." And she like holds onto your shoulder.
And I think under your hand, you can feel this like raised tissue along both of the edges of their scapula. And you like know that I think is where the like soul is coming up and out of, like through where their wings tear out. And you can feel in your hand like this like bitter laugh, I think, like kind of rattle in their chest. Destiny's a fucking bitch.
I think Voska nods. And yet we are here to forge it. No. Of all the peoples upon this plane, in this time, in this world, you, I, Sitlali, Mercy, and Dewey are together here now. And we will make each other whole once more. We will make you whole once more. And you will forge your own goddamn destiny, Oka. I know you will.
And Oka's face, I think, like turns over on their knee, you know, like they have it like propped up. and they look down at their hands tucked into Dr. Aluso's. They kind of glance up at their face. Do you think the gods love us because we're broken? They look up at Shuhai. None of us are like you. Not this time.
Sitlali. As you die, color drains from the top of the pagoda, and you just suddenly feel very, very cold. Almost very tired, as the initial shock of the pain of Mercy's blade impaling your heart just settles into a kind of detached chill. And as I think your vision sort of goes gently horizontal, as you lay flat against the floor, you see that self-same fog from earlier start to roll in past Oka's fingers, past Voska, past Dr. Aluso's boots, past even, I think, the god jar that you have clasped between your hands. All of this fog of the ethereal realm just spills in here and obscures your friends and everything around you. Only you are in color. You and the jar. And based on your locate creature from earlier, you sense a thread. Ding! Crimson red, thin, a string of blood, weaving its way forward through the fog past your eyes. What do you do?
I think I'm going to start heading in the direction of the string, while also keeping an eye out for Leaf. If Leaf tries to show up and be like, hi, you're going the wrong way, actually.
You sit up out of your body. You stand, and you follow the red thread of fate. And as you use it as a tether to find yourself through this murky, white after death, you feel a familiar presence, a soul exerting radiance that you've felt before, bleeding out in the silent grove, exploding into feathery wings across your face. The soul of one Oka Makoya Hien, as you continue to walk your way down this thread. You walk for what feels like an eternity. You walk for what feels like no time at all. And eventually the fog thins, and you find Makoya. Makoya, what does your after look like?
My after? Well, I've been waiting in Halo's room for forever. I don't really know why she's not back yet. I mean, sitting under the hawthorn tree outside, looking up at it, eventually I got bored, so I went upstairs to see where she was, and nobody else is here except for that, I don't know, that weird person, Shuhai, who keeps trying to bother me, but I'm really just waiting for Halo to get here. Have you seen them? Oh, is that you there? Halo? Halo?
And Sitlali, the fog has parted and thinned enough to reveal a garden? A beautiful sweeping expanse of manicured horticulture. Various trees, lovingly attended to by arborists based on how well they're blooming and flowering, a low, gurgling brook winding its way underneath footbridges, and a tall Dream Prophet's tower looming over this entire space. But the apple of your eye here is a hawthorn tree, with dark wood, gnarled, twisted branches, and Makoya Hien standing in the shade at its base. I think the fog has formed something of an oval-like aperture around this scene. You still see the fog extending for some distance, all the way to your left and all the way to your right, almost like this is a hole in a wall of fog. This is the after that the red thread cuts through, though they don't seem aware of it.
And I think Sitlali just kind of looks around. because they're not supposed to be here, and they're very aware of that. And then I think she just like grasps the thread in both of their one of their hands, the other hand on the jar, and just tugs.
Hey, what the fuck was that?
And they tug again.
In all these fucking libraries of knowledge. And Makoya Hien, kind of like a fish on a hook, like steps a few feet backward.
And Sitlali rolls her eyes and kind of like huffs and is like, Makoya Hien, follow the sound of my voice, or whatever. And like gives a gentler tug.
And Makoya, upon that, as you jerk forward a little bit, the edges of this garden of your after have always been a little fuzzy, a little faded in a pleasant way. If you keep walking in one direction, eventually you just find yourself back at the tree, right? And you haven't really questioned this. It's like being in a pleasant dream. But as you hear this voice, it cuts through this ever-present haze, and you see, sort of sharpening into focus, some number of feet past the tree, an unfamiliar changeling person tugging on something invisible that seems to be connecting them to you. They're just sort of like fuzzing into reality on the borders of the garden.
Hey, wait a minute. I think I remember you. Where do I know you from? You're not Halo. What are you doing here? Who are you?
I'm your future best friend, and we met when you died. So...
Died?
Yeah. That's a lot to take in, yeah. You died. You're dead, technically, but you're not dead also at the same time. It's a lot, but like, if you come over here, then we can talk about it more. And also, you can probably be alive again, technically. Because you're technically alive right now. It's complicated.
Yeah, my mom said that I probably shouldn't go anywhere in my dreams. I feel like that was like a dream interpretation 101 when somebody's like, follow me. I feel like that was like a warning that we got.
Yeah, but you're also not a very good dream prophet, and those are your words, not mine. So like...
All right, you're making some sense here. You're making some sense. Mm-hmm.
I don't think so. And stepping into reality, shimmering all the way up, Shuhai Meow appears. Another changeling person, Makoya Hien, that's occasionally here sometimes, especially when you kind of wander to the edge of the garden. They always appear and gently guide you back to the tree by hand.
Oh, it's you again. Are you do you know each other? Am I supposed to go this way?
Shuhai stands between Sitlali and Makoya, like blocking off the two of you in equidistance. And their back is turned to Makoya, and their eyes are trained on Sitlali. You again.
Me again.
This isn't your after.
Correct.
Why are you here?
Well, technically you sent me, in a way.
I do have a faint memory, a faint recollection, a precognition that this, and they sort of point backward without looking at Makoya, is not supposed to be held here forever. But how do I know they're supposed to go with you, not someone else?
I think they kind of hold up the jar. Galtanger says hi.
They've got Galtanger. What is that? That looks like a flower pot.
It's not a flower pot, Makoya.
It looks like a flower pot.
If you really are supposed to be the one to bring Makoya Hien out of their shattered half-after, then you're going to have to convince them yourself. And with that, Shuhai actually steps away and clears the path between the two of you. And the fog parts a little bit more around the edges of the oval, Sitlali, to sort of admit you entrance temporarily.
Oh, whoa. Okay. Yeah, Sidlali walks in.
And I think Makoya's eyes, like curious, bright, intelligent, like focused, look over you, and they stop at the rapier at your hip, right?
Yep.
Oh, can you fight?
Technically, yes.
Oh, spar with me. If I win, I'll go with you. I haven't sparred in ages. Come on, I'm bored.
If you win, you'll come with me. What if I win?
Well, I guess I'll come with you also.
Fair enough. And they unsheath their rapier, and hold the jar. Still, they're afraid to put it down. Like, how big is the jar? Like,
portable size. There's like a loop on the end of it that you've seen Dewey attached to like a belt on his hip.
belt. Sidlali doesn't have belts. God damn it. Sidlali doesn't wear pants. I think they'll find a way to they have mending. They'll tear like part of their dress and like tie it to like across their back, I think. And also like so they can have their shield, LMAO. And is like I think to themselves is kind of like, God, I hope Oka doesn't remember kicking my ass as a 16-year-old, as they like take a stance.
That's a pretty good stance. Why do you have that? Well, whatever. And I think Makoya just kind of comes at you real fast, right? They're not as good as Oka is something that I think you would notice, but they are well trained, just like they are. And they seem very excited. And I think like each time, like, I think a sword just kind of apparates into their hand out of the mist, right? I assume it's like beautiful, like Dao blade with a little red ribbon off the end. And they use it and just come at you pretty quick.
So I think as the first round commences, I need the two of you to either make an athletics or an acrobatics check against each other.
24.
17.
How does Makoya get the better of Sidlali in the first part of the fight?
I think they're just kind of having fun and like playing, and I think they like skirt around Sidlali to kind of like almost like peer at the god jar, and they're like, what is this thing? And like they almost like pick it up off of Sidlali's back, which maybe is kind of like frightening, but then they use that like as an like kind of a teasing opportunity to just like tap the sword against their side. Gotcha.
So you did. So you won. So you'll come with me.
I was really supposed to wait for Halo to get here. We were gonna go to the Silent Grove with my sisters. Where are my sisters?
You already went to the Silent Grove with your sisters, Makoya. That's why you're here.
Are you really telling the truth?
I
I
am.
could go back.
Yes.
Will you be a better fighter when I go back?
With your help, probably.
And you say we're best friends? Like, best friends?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
We are.
Okay.
Cool. So let's... And I think they try to find their own soul's tether. How is that doing? Because they haven't been super conscious of it.
Voska, give me an Arcana check
Arcana check, let's go.
to fish, to be a little fisherwoman.
This is the Transplanar fishing minigame, and I'm into it. That is a... yeah, okay. I rolled a 12, so 12 plus 12 is 24.
Yeah, Sidlali, you're able to find it. It feels like Voska, sort of like attached to, like coming out of your back, perhaps.
Cool. Tight. And I think they, put away their shield and rapier and just kind of like hold out a hand to Makoya.
And Makoya kind of looks back at Shuhai Meow. Thanks for hanging out with me. You're kind of an asshole, though, sometimes. I really have to say it.
And you're kind of a brat.
Neither of these things changed, for the record.
That's ironic.
I thought you were supposed to be my best friend.
I am. It's called playful ribbing, Makoya.
Oh. Well, your sword stance does need some work, yeah.
Yes, it does. I'm pretty fucking terrible at it. Let's go.
And I think as the two of you make your way out of the after toward that aperture that had opened, Shuhai Meow steps in close to you, Sitlali, before you leave, and sort of says to you, "Well done. But listen, you better hurry. Dark's coming."
And they know exactly what that means, and they hurry.
As you step back out over the threshold of Makoya's after, you see it begin to disintegrate. Now that there's no soul in it to power it, to make it happen, you see like the wisps of the hawthorn tree bleeding out into this white mist, the tall, proud dream prophet pagoda just vanishing like candle smoke being blowed out by a gentle breeze. And the last thing to go is Shuhai Meow's silhouette. They're standing there, one hand up, right? Like biting you good luck before they as well wipe away like a mirage in a desert.
Bye, Halo.
And then it's just you and the shattered part of Makoya Hien and that thread connecting you to Voska and the God Jar, surrounded by this white mist. And Sitlali, behind you, you see a shadow fall across the after, like lights being flicked out at the end of a corridor, as the cataclysm begins to come. We pull out of this scene, back into the now, where I think a number of hours have passed. That entire sequence, it takes a long time. Is funny when you're dead, right? And I think at this point, Mercy has sort of like stuck her sword into the ground and is leaning against it, right? Like into the floor of the pagoda, and has her like big muscular arms crossed over her chest, her eyebrows knotted together, sort of glancing occasionally at Voska. Dr. Luso hasn't left Oka or Sitlali's side at all. They've like held onto Oka's hand this entire time and is gently stroking the back of it and like sort of talking in low tones to Oka occasionally. Shuhai Meow is sort of pacing by the banister, like casting glances off to the railing down into the bamboo grove at the base of the pagoda, occasionally looking up at the stars, at the wheel of Sen glittering in beautiful constellation in the night sky. What are the rest of you doing?
Dewey is sitting on the other side of Oka, opposite Dr. Luso, sort of with his back facing the two of them, and he's got his Godjar notes spread all over the floor. He's sort of just been going over them over and over and over, trying to make sure everything was correct, he did everything right, because it's taking so long, and that's never a good sign. And he's gone over these for the past couple of hours, so everything that's been reviewed has been reviewed. So he's sort of taken a break from that and is just staring up off the edge of the pagoda and at the sky, trying to see, hoping, praying that Sitlali comes back with Makoya and the God Jar before the cataclysm comes back.
Because it has been hours, Voska is dancing. An extremely somber dance. Like Bharatanatyam, it is of beats, of stomps to keep focused on Sitlali's soul tether, because it has been so long, and it's just and is using like parable as a flourish of the pull, especially when Sitlali is sparring with Makoya. It's just like there's like moments where you see like the steps kind of go a little unwieldy, and she tethers it back with parable seamlessly in an attempt to stay focused, and she will keep a promise. She's not going to let go.
I think Oka is pretty much exactly where they fell the first time. And even though there's this like knitted framework of health that Vaska wove around them and around their soul, it's kind of exactly like what you said, Connie. It's like a fox jumped into their soul, tore it all up with its teeth, and then jumped out. So they're tired. They're kind of like reliving those strange days where their soul had been completely punched out of their body by the Paragon Killer, and all they could do was sit in the bath and hope that Vanash would keep them alive. And I think they're kind of in a similar mind space, but it's different this time because they are kind of shifting from like, I think occasionally looking over Dewey's shoulder, pointing out different like intricacies in the divine triptych specifically, like looking at the runes and giving like soft advice, like soft words of, I think, like affirmation of like that theory was proven, like blah 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 blah, to like going to watch Vaska dance, you know, to just kind of staring and watching Shuhai, and then speaking with Dr. Aluso occasionally, trying to keep some kind of tether on this like bloodline, right, that's connecting them to themselves, which I think is a really odd feeling, an odd sensation that they have not really felt before.
I really like that. I think there's a moment where Mercy's watching Vaska, you know, her arms crossed, seeing this paragon in deep focus, doing the equivalent of being a tightrope walker spinning plates to keep that thread from falling and slipping out of focus. And Mercy just sort of says, Vaska?
Yes, and like Vaska's kind of like leant down with Parable leaning against like her left hand and uses her knee to pivot and then start like a new section of the dance.
Listen, about everything that happened in the, you know, when we were on the beach again.
Vaska is quiet. Yes?
Listen, I just wanted to say, I know I can be a dick sometimes, but I forgot I said that. And, look, I know how much you care about Sitlali, and you want them to be okay, and I want them to be okay too, and I know it wasn't your fault that Atalanta died, okay? It wasn't anyone's fault. If anything, it was Oka, Manaya, V, and Dewey's fault, really, for the whole carnival thing. But I'm not gonna unpack that right now. All I know is that it wasn't you. You didn't do anything wrong.
There's the sound of the friction of rope against palm as it goes taut in her hand, and the dart piece of Parable dangles like a pendulum spinning clockwise. And Vaska murmurs, "There's a kindness that I owed you on that beach. Kindness that I did not show you. Atalanta's death spared none."
Yeah, I guess it didn't. But you know, the funny thing about being me is I've known and I've loved these incredible people, and so many of them are dead, Vaska. And it's just me left. Bravi's dead. Atalanta's dead. Sitlali died. I hope they're coming back. They better come back. They're gonna come back, but...
They will not die. As the voice lowers, strained, and I think that might have been the moment where, like, Sitlali gets tapped by Makoya, and it's like, there's like a snap in focus, and Vaska brings it back.
I can't lose them, okay? You gotta bring them back. Please.
Vaska, through foggy, icy eyes, the stain of crystal upon her dark brown skin, looks Mercy in the eyes, probably finally for the first time, as she says, "No one should know the pain of love lost. I will spare you that. I will keep my promise. Salali will be back home in your arms. Upon Nebuza's tongue, I promise."
And Shuhai finishes pacing. Well, that promise better come quick. As you all see on the northern horizon, the first line of stars begin to vanish. And on that, we're going to cut to break, everybody. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. I love you so much. Enjoy the music and Pijo. Hello, everyone. Welcome back from break. Let's hop right back into it. Content warnings for this episode and our campaign in general may include fantasy violence, death of loved ones, body horror, gore, blood and bloodletting, apocalypse, trauma and grief, familial struggles, complex and complicated relationships, romance, references to sexual entanglements, and disreality. Use !CW in chat for a full list of these content warnings, and let's keep on trekking. Sitlali. The darkness begins to press closer, leeching an empty, desiccated energy that is the exact opposite of reality. This is non-existence. This is the vacuum of space, the darkness between stars, the nothing before there was something. This is the nothing plane, and it is coming ever closer. What do you do?
Hey, future best friend, what the fuck is that?
I think they're running at this point, and I don't think Sitlali answers. I think they are doing, we're past 4D chess, we're like 8D chess at this point, like, trying to figure out how to make this happen. And I think there was a moment of just in case, and she goes to cast anti-life shell on herself, and starts to, while running, because it's not that high of a level spell, but she goes to start drawing out the sigil for that. And if I may,
and that's when the
same idea at the same time.
Yeah. Same brain. Yeah. Oh my god. As you start to draw out the sigil, you see it glow, streaking through the white mist that's being eaten up by this empty darkness, encroaching faster behind you. And that's when the weave snaps. In the middle of you casting a spell, like stray guitar strings just ricocheting, rubber banding back against the skin of your soul, Sitlali. And what level were you casting anti-magic shell, Allegan? Anti-life shell? Fifth. Oh. Okay, you're gonna take 5d8, and I rolled 19, so not bad, points of force damage.
Okay,
from that backfire spell.
Okay. And I think Sitlali stops.
Hey, what the fuck are we running or are we not running? I thought you were gonna take me back to my body. What's going on?
And I think, if I may, Connie, I think Sitlali reaches out and manages to tug on one of the now snapped strings of the weave.
Okay.
And feels it screaming as if it were their own vocal cords shredding. And I think her hand tightens around Makoya's in this like split second where they pause. And Sitlali feels the weave writhing in pain. Sitlali feels it dying and screaming and weeping. And Oka, I think you smell Sitlali's blood. Not from Mercy's blade, but fresh, as in the after. Sitlali wills their own palm to split where it touches that string of the weave. And they're whispering, I won't let you die. You're okay. You're okay. You're gonna be okay. As tears well, and she realizes that this is what they have been fighting for this entire time. And Sitlali pledges this blood oath to the weave. And then I think it's back to, she looks at Makoya and they run some more.
Ooh. If I may, in this split second, when you're pledging this blood oath, I think you see it. You see the weave lit up. For the first time in your life, you've always been able to imagine the weave, maybe even sense it, but you've never been able to visualize it the way you currently can now. And you see these beautiful, lambent threads of magic all around you, like you're in an ocean of tapestry. It's marvelous. Some threads are thicker than others, some are thinner, some spiral, others are straight, some weave and tangle and knot, while others move parallel on tracks next to each other. It's glorious. It's magic. This is magic. And you see them beginning to snap. One thin one in the distance at first, just ping, and then another one snapping, and then a big thick one pulling, like two very heavy objects on either end are like pulling an iron thread across. You see little splinters like splitting off in the middle, and then that one snaps off as well. And there's that massive snapping noise. That's what it is. The snapping noise is the literal threads of the weaver beginning to get cut. And I think as you fling your palm out, you see in your own ghostly form crimson blood well up in the center of your hand as you pull onto a thread, I think. And you're able to physically grab onto the snapped ends of the weave here if you want, and try to like pull it, like keep it from disappearing in this moment if you would like to try that.
Yeah. Yes. Hello. I am slamming the yes button.
Okay, sounds good. And as you do, you're like pulling onto these threads. You see that red thread connecting Makoya to somewhere deeper into the mist back to Oka. And you also see Voska's thread connecting you, right, like from your chest also deeper into the fog. But there's so many different strings all around you that Voska's thread starts to kind of get lost in the weftwork. And it's like you're pulling onto the weave, but the darkness is coming and Voska's thread is getting lost and Makoya is just there. And then in the midst of all this chaos, you hear a voice. Both of you hear a voice go, "Oh, hi there." And you see a fox with two antlers sitting in the middle of the ethereal plain. Sen, this fox, cocks its head at you, and when it turns its snout, you see a rabbit's face. And when it turns its head back, you see a fox's face. Like it's an image suspended in a hologram, always flickering between various forms.
That's a good oath you pledged there.
Thanks.
I think the weave is quite happy with you. But this isn't good. Follow me.
Okay.
And grinning, this fox just sort of turns with its big bushy tail whipping around it, and it hops onto Voska's thread like it can see the threads as well, and it begins to trot down like a tightrope walker, leading you back toward the now.
Yeah, we're going.
as you and Makoya book it, you can see these radiant threads just snapping in your face. It's horrifying. It's like watching like a forest burn down in front of your eyes. It's really sad as you just see these swords get snap, being devoured hungrily by this darkness nipping at your heels. And you sort of like see like, like Sen continuing to run down and traipse down this thread of Voska's. And you sort of like hear it say sort of like over its shoulder,
Oh yeah, and don't look back.
And I think Sitlali clamps a hand over Makoya's eyes and keeps going.
And as the two of you run, following Sen, I think the last image we get before the fog parts to reveal the now and you're flung back into your bodies and the cataclysm comes in the now is that thing behind you that Sen had warned you not to look at. You all don't see it, but as we swing back behind, the audience perceives red light brimming within the darkness as a single red iris flutters open. And then, Sitlali, you gasp awake on the cold wooden floor of the pagoda. Oka, you also gasp awake, I think, right? And as something floods into your body, whoa, that is weird. And Voska, you feel that line that had connected you to the Afterglow slack as both Sitlali's soul, Makoya's soul, and Sen return back to the now. But that's when the final line of stars goes dark. Everything is plunged into a shadowy abyss, and you all hear the roaring and screaming of the weave snapping around you as terrified shouts start to come from Kinongbo beneath you, and then an ox cart trundles up the main road, massive wheels churning through frozen mud. A dancer twirls on a stage wearing a white fox mask. A fight breaks out on the threshold of an inn, and the four of you and Mercy stand at the entrance of Kinongbo on the edge of E11. Oka, there's something in your soul that has not been in your soul for over 7 years, 8 at this point, because this is E11. It feels like, have you ever had an organ ripped out of your body and you lived without it for 7 years and then it was shoved
Connie,
back in?
No, I haven't.
It's
no,
like
I haven't,
that.
Connie.
It's like
no,
that.
I haven't felt that. That is not a universal experience.
Have you felt this? Like every Tom, Dick, and Harry.
It's like losing a part of yourself, say your heart. It's like losing the ability to love, and you live without it for 7 years. You adapt to it. You learn affection. You learn the names of lovers. You learn how to hold people, the right way to act and perform. And then when it comes flooding back, it's at once familiar and a stranger. And I think Oka, Makoya being back inside your soul, it is overwhelming. I think you fall to your knees.
Voska's on that shit. That was a lot. No, we're not doing this. String went slack. Sitlali, maybe here? Sitlali here. Okay. I know we technically have a long rest, but I like to imagine Voska is like drenched in sweat and they have all crystallized into ice. And she like snaps her head as Oka falls and shards of ice just fall off of her face and like gets onto her knees and like starts checking a lot has just happened. We need to make sure our friend's alive.
Yeah, as you like run over to Oka, I think we push in on your frantic face, Oka, and into your psyche. And I think we are back at that hawthorn tree. But Makoya Hien is standing in the shade, and you, Oka, are standing in the light. And Makoya looks at you. Who the hell are you?
What the fuck do you mean, who am I?
You look just like me, but what happened to your hair? All those scars?
I like it short, okay? First of all, I like it short. We like it short.
Do we? Don't we miss it long? Wait, what do you mean miss it? Like it? You're me, aren't you?
We're me.
We're
me. Us?
We're us. We're Makoya Hien.
Oka Hien.
Oka Hien. And I think as the two of you continue to talk, like, the distance, even though none of you take a step forward, starts to shrink as shade starts to bleed into light. Wait, what the fuck is that? And they turn and you see the Telian standing, I think, in the middle of like a chrysanthemum garden.
I'll explain that later.
Is that us?
That's also us. Yeah. I'm sorry. I tried to get us back. I don't know where you've been. And I don't really think you're gonna like where I've been.
I don't really think I know where I've been either. But this feels right, I think. Being hurts. It hurts, Oka. And that's all I really know. Is there more than that? Will we ever know more than that?
Yeah. I think you will. I think we will. I think all of us will. Just for a minute.
Okay. Okay.
And Oka reaches out and hugs their younger self tight against their chest.
And as you hug, the shadow and the light bleed into each other to become one. And as we pull out of your face in the now, I think your eyes fly open. And Voska, you can just sort of see soul magic like vibrate off of Oka's shoulder blades, like those wings are about to come out again, but then you just sort of see like all these disparate colors flash in this aurora borealis appearing for a split second above Oka's head, like a halo, and then it all melds together. And Oka, what's the color of your soul?
How did I not think that this would be the next question? Ah! Silver. Not gold, not blue, it's silver now. But still just as metallic with that same shine. Silver.
A silver soul, melding into perfect cohesion, and then sinking back into Oka's skin.
So in my professional opinion, is everything okay? Val is no soul doctor, but Voska is.
In your professional opinion, Voska, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything's okay now.
No need for surgery. Oh, thank Jesus. I think Voska would do her due diligence and kind of like just scan through the threads to kind of like understand what just happened. And Connie, if you would allow it, and Oka, if you would allow it, I think she would realize the fusion that has just happened and maybe feel the tethers of a young soul growing back into their older self, Atelian, attached there as well. That's a question. Does Atelian, because it's all three now, right? All three occupants. All good on that front? Okay.
Yeah, weirdly enough. You've never seen this happen in your entire life as a soul magician. This is borderline unethical magic. This is unethical magic. It's like a soul that was shattered and put together, and now there's also an emissary in there somewhere, and they're all the same person now. It's very odd.
Good to know. Good to know. Love that for us. I think Voska's a little too tired to delve into ethics right now, but I think like she kind of like pulls, and you see the transformation of the colors from blue gold just turns silver as she's pulling onto the thread. And Oka, as you gasp awake, if you so allow, Voska holds your face tenderly.
And I think as you do, they kind of look up and their hair starts to get longer and longer, and it just kind of like grows, almost like that first time where it turned into a mane, but it just kind of keeps growing like out of their, like just like out and down, spills down over their shoulders, goes all the way past their hips where they're kneeling on the ground, past their knees, and like spools down this like long, beautiful black hair. And they kind of look up at you.
I think like Voska's cradling your back now because you're knelt and like holding you, and one hand is on your cheek. And she says, "Good morning." And then her hand will trace down to your chest. As she whispers, "They're still young. Be kind to them."
And Oka throws their arms around you and hugs you.
Voska's taken aback. Was not expecting that. But like, I think in her surprise, like falls onto her back, but holds you just the same.
Fuck! And Oka kind of like stands up, right? Like kind of fast, like up and off Voska. I think pulls you up too. Whips around this like massive hair, just kind of like flits around their whole head and body, and they look for Sitlali. Sitlali, you did it! 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 You did it!
And I think Sitlali is like 1,000 yards staring like at an ox cart or something, as like a third marigold blooms from their chest. On their chest, it's like a tattoo, but different. And when she hears their name, they're just kind of like there's an acknowledgement, like, but she doesn't quite connect like the sound with being spoken to. There's just kind of like a head turn, I think.
Sitlali, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Do you think that God jar is good to work again?
Oh my god, the god jar, where is it? Is it okay?
Sitlali realizes that they have it, and holds it up. Is it good, DM?
It's totally fine. With that nat 20 that Dewey got, it is 100% okay. And upon you holding it up, Mercy, who's like been patting herself down, looking around, Sitlali, thank the gods. And she actually runs forward and I think like shoves the god jar out of the way a little bit, and I think it tumbles like through the air out of your hand, but Dewey like catches it. And Mercy just kisses you and holds you tight.
I think it surprises them, but like, yeah, she kind of melts. A lot just happened to him.
Voska. And Mercy turns immediately to look at Voska and Oka tangled up on the ground. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
I think for the first time in this Jukai party, Voska laughs. Light-hearted, and it's like light giggles bubbling up, like sea foam bubbling up to the surface of the ocean. She just laughs. She says, What are you talking about?
Wow, Voska, you have a really pretty laugh.
Oh,
I don't know why I said that. I don't know why.
you fucking homosexual.
Mercy.
That was really good. If you two start dating, though, I'm going to fucking eat my boot.
No, where's Sagu?
And I think Mercy looks up toward where the pagoda is. Think I have an idea where your little Sagu and Shuhai Meow, bastard of the fucking hour, both are. Sitlali, you're okay though, right? I noticed a third flower sort of on your chest. Was that always there? We have a lot to talk about. But they seem to bloom every time you every time. Well, anyway. Tower time? Yes.
Dewey, you didn't answer my question.
Who else do you have in mind? Who else needs saving?
I would need to ask, probably, but I can think of someone who would like to probably be alive again. And Sitlali has a slightly unhinged look on their face. They are clearly scheming and they're being cagey on purpose.
Sure, maybe? Do we need to... Is this a right now thing, or...
I mean, considering Oka's soul is now capable of holding Sen, it would, before they get Sen, maybe is the only time to do it, so maybe, possibly.
What?
I mean, I just committed the greatest fucking sacrilege I could have, so why stop at one, right?
Sitlali, what are you talking about? Who are you trying to bring back?
Leaf.
That's... Oh.
It wasn't Leaf's time. And wouldn't Rev be happy if Leaf came back? And now we have a way to do it. It worked. It worked once, so who wants to kill me this time? I mean, you don't have to do... If you want to do it again, that's fine.
Sitlali, I'm not a soul magician or any sort of magic person at all in any way, shape, or form, but... even I know that it's one thing to bring back a shattered piece of a soul from the after to reunite it in its proper owner who's still alive, and quite another to try to trap an unwilling soul and bring it back.
Well, I would ask first, obviously.
Everything I know about Leaf from you, I don't think she'd come willingly.
I can be very persuasive.
Mercy speaks wisely as Voska picks herself up and dusts herself off from the ground and walks over to you, Sitlali. I understand. But as Mercy says, reuniting, fixing what is broken is different than wrenching one that is whole back across to where it doesn't belong. And I do not say this to dishearten you. As she closes the distance more, you are one of boundless potential. You have so much ability that I don't think even the gods could dare quantify you. But as Mercy says, as Voska looks at Mercy and looks back at you, is that what Leaf would want?
And I think Sitlali grabs on to the front of Voska and leans in. Maybe I could bring her back too.
Voska closes her eyes.
What if I just kept doing this?
And
I swore a blood oath to the weave. That means something.
I think that part maybe gets lost in everything that you've just said, as Voska holds your shoulders and looks you in the eye. And there's this glaze of ice across her eyelids. I know the look of grief. I do. And if Oblivion called me Silali, I would go willingly to her. But I cannot bear. And her voice breaks a little bit, and I think only you would catch that. I cannot bear whatever this would do to her soul. One day, I may join her. But if you pulled her here, if you pulled Leaf here, we might lose them in every facet of the world. Do you understand, Silali?
I think Silali lets go and kind of pushes off of Vaska abruptly and just kind of turns to Oka. And there's still like this kind of wild desperation there, I think. And like a silent pleading to back them up.
And I think Oka is kind of standing there with their like hair just on the ground. And I think they had started to cry. And these like now silver tears kind of like eking down their face, even though their face doesn't betray like the fact that they're crying. And they look at you and shake their head no. I'm sorry, Sally. I don't want it to be true. But it was Robbie's time to die. And it was Atalanta's time to die. And it was Leaf's time to die too.
And Sitlali kind of lets all of that sink in. Locks eyes with Oka. I swore a blood oath to the weave.
Welcome to the fine arts of necromancy.
Do I have to fucking plane shift us there again? Is that still the best way to get there?
I think so. I mean, Shuhai Meow hasn't appeared, and Dr. Lisa's still there. What if they're, you know what? Forget the implication that I'm putting up there, Oka. You look great. Your hair, wow. What's it like to have your soul back together?
Am I crying? What the fuck?
Yeah, and it's like silver instead of your usual gold, which was weird to begin with. To be clear.
Oka just kind of stands there wildly. Their hair hasn't been brushed in 7 years, and it's past their feet.
Let me just, And Mercy pulls out one of her ponytail, like, scrunchies that she wears and hands it to you.
Oka just kind of looks at it. Thanks, Mercy.
All right, Sitlali. Get us up there.
I'm debating if their magic looks different now. I think it looks a little bit more like Dr. O's. I think it's a little more intuitive. I think it's easier for Sitlali to know which threads to pull, and like, even though she can't see it right now, they've seen it. So it's less involved and more just kind of quick bursts of color, and it happens because
I like that.
Wanted it to.
Yeah, you're not like drawing sigils and like necessarily reciting a spell or thinking about like the book learning of magic, right? It's more just like you go with your gut and you just do it. Kind of like how Dr. Lusso had explained how they were able to just do magic. And yeah, there's a pop of color as you just pull on the threads of the weave that feel very familiar to you now. You don't see them anymore, but you can grasp them. You can sense them with your fingers and pull and boom. All of you are at the top of the pagoda yet again. Kinongbo, a tiny speck at the base of this tower, the massive wheel of Sen glittering in a bright, dazzling silver constellation amid the dark, Dr. Aluso at a tea table, Shuhai Meow standing, pacing, waiting. Hands clasped behind their back, they pause as the 5 of you zap into existence. Finally.
Yes. Yes.
Hello, Makoya, Oka. Welcome back. How is your soul now that it is one? come on, we don't have all day. Answer.
Yes.
Yes? Your soul is yes? That's not a response, Paragon.
Okay, well, it is yes.
If you're to take up my mantle, you have to be a little bit more poetic than that. How does it feel in your body?
It's like I forgot how to smile. And it's kind of heavy, and warm.
Good. That's a start. You, Voska. You're gonna have to do some soul therapy with them when I'm gone, okay? Keep them tethered. They risk splitting again if they're not completely whole, alright?
Voska nods, and Oka, if you so allow it, will take your hand and thread it between her fingers.
Dr. Luso... Voska Gayrist. Dr. Luso rises from the tea table and is immediately by Voska and Oka's side. Oka, your hair, it's so long. I mean, you look good. You're you now. I mean, you've always been you, but you're now more you. There's more of you in you now.
Voska will remove herself from that situation because she's got some awareness and will walk over to Dewey and just murmur very quietly, I hope you're ready for Voska's attempt at a joke, as she looks at Dewey and goes, Shuhai just asked Oka to be poetic. I thought I was the paragon with the future. Didn't know that Sen partook in storytelling. And she chuckles a little bit and stands by Dewey's side.
Was that, and this is Mercy, was that a joke? Voska, did you just try to tell a joke?
Oh, was that a joke?
Laugh! Dewey, don't be fucking rude.
That is all the feedback I needed. I'll go back to workshopping.
Huh. You know, you are full of surprises, Voska. Okay. You and Dr. Luso claps their hands on either side of your cheeks. Your hair, and they're like pulling at like your shirt. They're like patting you down. Your hair. You're you. Mm-hmm. Are you okay?
Yeah, it's like your hair, like your eyes.
My eyes?
Yeah. They're a little brown again.
Oh, must be because I've been away from the chasm for a couple weeks now, days, months. I mean, technically, well, time is weird here. But well, yes. And Dr. Luso sort of worries the top of their head, and you see that some darkish roots have grown out, actually. Yes, I have a theory about something in the chasm radiating something that makes me... that's besides the point.
Yeah, you have a lot of theories about a lot of
I do. I have a lot of theories about everything.
Yeah.
But you look... Yeah. I'm so happy for you. I will help Voska do the soul therapy if you want. I'm not going to intrude or invite myself, but I feel if you need help, being you again...
No, Dr. Luso, you may take over. I can take a back seat.
Back seat? Oh, perhaps we can go elk riding together? Do things that you like to do to keep you grounded in your sense of identity? You and me, we can go elk riding, we can, what else do you like? We can spar, though I'm not a formally trained duelist like you, but I can learn. I do have a photographic kinetic memory.
Can I kiss you?
Huh?
Never mind! And Oka turns around as fast as they can and walks over to Shuhai!
And Dr. Luso, on your way, grabs the back of your shirt, turns you around, and kisses you. And on that, we're going to end the session. So everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to Arc 6, Episode 11 of The Second Stranger. I have been your GM and executive producer, Connie. My pronouns are they, he, and she. Find me all across the internet at by Connie Chong. I'm going to pass along introductions up and over to Quinn.
Hi, hello, I'm Quinn. My pronouns are they, them. I have been your resident afterlife diver, spelunker, whatever you want to call it. Sitlali, the grave cleric who uses they, she pronouns and is having a normal one. You can find me on Twitter at Quintastic_. I'm a TTRPG designer, sensitivity reader, actual play performer, other things and such. Hire me, buy my games, do the shit. I'm gonna pass it to Valiant Dorian.
Hi everyone, I am Valiant Dorian. I use he and his pronouns.
Everyone needs to do a magical outro now. Musical one. Everyone has to do a musical outro now.
All right, sounds great. Everyone, you heard it here first. Hi everyone, I'm Valiant Dorian. I use he and his pronouns. I'm a TTRPG performer and Twitch variety streamer. And today I had the distinct pleasure of playing Voska, uses she, they pronouns, Paragon Nebusa, College of Seabard, and is going to facilitate every gay awakening ever now, because that's my whole. We need healing, and the only healing is through gay. You can find me on the internet at Valiant Dorian or at Otso Spirit Bear. Please enjoy that lovely treasure hunt I just sent you on. And I'm going to pass outro introductions over to Max.
Hey, I'm Max. My name is only one syllable. I can't do a musical sting. My pronouns are they, them. I play Dewey, not the worst paragon at jokes anymore. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, at Starshmonger. I'll pass it to C.
Hi, my name is C. Carnelian. You can find me using they, them pronouns on the internet at PieSharpArt. I don't know, I'm feeling kind of gay. You can find me making very, yeah, you know where to find me! I played Oka Lovewin's Hien, who is now fully Oka confirmed homosexual Hien. That's Connie, it's your I don't know.
I didn't get to do a musical thing for myself, so I'm gonna say I have been Connie Chung here tonight as the GM. That was so gay. I was like, I can't GM past this. We have to end it there. So check out the next episode next Saturday at 8 p.m. US Eastern Time, right here on Twitch at Transplanar RPG. We're gonna be rating someone awesome right now, no doubt. Give them a follow. Tell them Transplanar sent you. Tell them about the gay shit that just happened. Use a raid message in chat. We love you so much. We will see you Saturday for the continuation of the Morose group, who are having a considerably less fun time than we are. Though we're not
I don't know if we were having a fun time, by the way.
We deserve this.
We
How
did.
dare.
All right. Goodbye, everyone. Have a great time zone. Spijo, gay show.